With Pokemon Scarlet and Violet coming out in just under 2 months, we have a lot of top 10s to go over regarding these new Pokemon. One of the first, of course, is trying to figure out what the best Tera types will be going in the Scarlet and Violet. So today, I want to discuss the top 10 Tera Style Pokemon and figure out not only what Pokemon will take advantage of this mechanic the best, but also what types will benefit them. If you enjoyed this type of content, make sure to leave a like on the video to show your support, and use that subscribe button so you never miss an upload. With that said, let's get right in the number 10.
Before we look at these potential Tera types and how they'll change competitive, I want to take a second to look at Raid Shadow Legends and see how they've changed mobile gaming. That's right, today's video is sponsored by Raid Shadow Legends. They have brought a full console level experience right to your phone, raising the bar so very high, and there's just no going back. They offer millions of champion combos, and you can employ countless tactics against bosses, in-dungeon runs, and many more different game modes. When I play Raid Shadow Legends, there's 3 huge things that I really love doing. The first being logging in and getting my rewards. I know it might seem a bit mundane, but it's an awesome serotonin boost to see what rewards I'm getting daily from logging into Raid. And let me tell you, they're always worth getting. It could be a new champion, silver, gems, anything. I will say though, my second favorite thing I love to do is just collecting champions. There are over 600 unique champions to earn in Raid, each of which has their own unique skills and reasons to use. Obviously, it'll take a lot of time to use 600 different champions, but I absolutely love just collect as many as I possibly can and create teams that I can eventually end up using to dominate bosses and raids. My absolute favorite thing to do in Raid though is to play with the community. I love to join a clan and just enjoy the sense of community and playing with other people. Whether it's just chatting with my friends or taking on a boss, clans are easily my favorite part of Raid Shadow Legends. There's some big news with Raid right now though, and that's the release of their new Awakening feature and the new dungeon from Iron Twin Fortress. If you take down the Iron Twins in a big battle, you'll be able to awaken your champions. An Awakening allows you to choose a powerful blessing that transforms how your champion performs in battle. And I gotta say, I love how these blessings look. For real. I've had a lot of fun testing out this new feature and seeing how it impacts the game. Also, Ultimate Death Knight has arrived in Raid. Everyone can get him for free right now, just by logging in for 7 days straight between now and October 27th. That's a pretty awesome opportunity. There's never been a better time to get started in Raid Shadow Legends. So use the promo code DKRises to elevate one of your champions to level 50, with awesome items, and the best part, this code works whether you're new to the game or a seasoned veteran. For all of you that are new to Raid though, go ahead and use the link in the description below or the QR code on screen, and you'll get some unique bonuses worth up to $30 to get started. You'll get the epic champion Ina for free, 200k silver, a free refill for energy, an XP boost, and a free ancient shard. Just check your inbox and the treasures will be there. I want to thank Raid once again for sponsoring the video today, and with that, I'll see you in there.
Starting off our list is a typical OU contender, Tyranitar. Tyranitar has been a fairly potent stealth rock option with a plethora of sets such as Defensive with Rocks, Choice Band, or even in some metas, Dragon Dance variations. I think in Generation 9, Tyranitar will actually be most known for becoming a terrifying Dragon Dance sweeper for teams. Tyranitar's typing of Dark and Rock allows you 2 terrifying options to take advantage of with Tera Style. Currently, it seems to be speculated that using a Tera Style typing of a typing your Pokemon already possesses will make your stab boost 2 times instead of 1.5 times. And I think Tyranitar will be one of the better options to use this to its advantage. If I had to guess, Tyranitar will most likely opt to run Tera Style Dark variations on Dragon Dance movesets, considering Dark typically is a more potent option as a pure stab in OU. You could probably utilize Dragon Dance, Crunch, Earthquake, and Ice Punch in order to terrorize the tier with Tyranitar. On these types of sets, I would probably run Unnerve on Tyranitar to avoid potential resist berries, though Sandstream would still be fairly potent. If you wanted to utilize Tera Style Rock, I think this would actually be better suited towards more defensive Tyranitar builds. While you can definitely make Dark work defensively, I think Tera Style Rock will probably be used most often on Tyranitar when running a bulkier Hazards variation. Tyranitar could still take advantage of the special defense boost from Sandstream this way in order to be a more threatening defensive option. I would probably expect Tera Style Rock Tyranitar to run Rock Slide, Earthquake, Stealth Rock, and some 4th move of choice, which could truthfully be anything, as Tyranitar's move pool is so vast. Moving on to our number 9 Pokemon, we have none other than Dragonite. Dragonite is one of our first Tera Steel Pokemon I think will most likely avoid using a stab for Tera Steel, but instead opt to patch a weakness it would have previously had. Dragonite being a dragon flying type would typically have a 4x weakness to ice, as well as weaknesses to both rock and fairy types. However, I believe Dragonite will take advantage of Tera Steel Steel in the upcoming games. In recent generations, Dragonite has shifted away from a once terrifying offensive presence to a more defensive piece for teams thanks to Multiscale. Multiscale allows Dragonite an easier time staying healthy thanks to its effect of taking 1/2 damage when you're at max HP, which allows Dragonite to take hits from Pokemon it otherwise couldn't. Dragonite would be able to utilize a Tera Steel Steel set in order to not only become a more obnoxious Pokemon defensively, but also bringing it back to its previous glory as an offensive tyrant. Being able to now have a stab that allows pressure to Fairy, Ice, and Rock types in OU, Dragonite could successfully threaten teams with the D-Dance, Iron Head, Earthquake, and Roost set in order to threaten a majority of Pokemon. Earthquake and Roost could also be swapped out for other moves such as Ice Punch, Dragon Claw, Outrage, Extreme Speed, Fly, or a plethora of other moves in its arsenal. With Dragonite, the biggest issue will honestly be that you only have 4 move slots to utilize. However, that's never stopped Dragonite from being a threat before. Speaking of defensive Tera Steel Pokemon, what if I told you we have a way to create a Tera Steel Pokemon with 0 weaknesses? We have the means to do so thanks to the ability Levitate. And one strong option to utilize this would be none other than our 8th slot Pokemon, Hydreigon. Hydreigon is probably the best Pokemon that take advantage of this, by using Tera Steel Electric to ensure it has 0 weaknesses. This would allow Hydreigon the ability to pull off bulkier movesets in order to be nearly impossible to KO. One of the benefits of Hydreigon having 0 weaknesses would be enabling more defensive sets. You could utilize sets with moves such as Taunt, Roost, and Defog in order to try to use Hydreigon as a Pokemon that would be difficult to take out for the opponent. Hydreigon's natural bulk is pretty strong already for an offensive Pokemon, so I think it would be the perfect Pokemon to take advantage of a 0 weakness moveset. Other options would be sets such as a bulky Nasty Plot set, where you could probably make Nasty Plot and Roost work with any 2 special attacks depending on what your team needs. Hydreigon could definitely be successfully tailored to handle whatever you need thanks to Tera Steel, leaving it number 8 on today's list. Our number 7 Pokemon is one of the bigger threats of Generation 8, Colossal. Colossal's become a terrifying VGC threat thanks to the ability Steam Engine. And with Tera Steel Water, Colossal can turn its weakness into a resistance. Tera Steel Water means that not only will you resist water-type moves, but you'll also resist fire-type moves too. Unlike using something such as Tera Steel Grass, Water is one of the only types that can not only resist both fire and water, but also help you take on common Colossal counterplay. Colossal would now have a means of taking out ground and rock-type Pokemon, both of which would otherwise attack it for super effective damage. Utilizing Tera Steel Water in tandem with moves like Flamethrower and Earth Power, Colossal could become an unstoppable sweeper and competitive. You could still take advantage of weakness policy too, since especially in doubles, there's a lot of opportunity to partner yourself with a Pokemon that can attack your own Colossal with a weaker super effective attack such as Absorb in order to do minimal damage to your own Colossal. Colossal is the perfect Pokemon that take advantage of the new Tera Steel mechanic, earning a spot at number 7 on today's list. Moving on to our number 6 Tera Steel Pokemon, we have a fairly interesting option in Rotom Wash. Rotom Wash has a few options that would be terrifying. However, I think the best option is making Rotom Wash into Rotom Heat. By making Rotom Wash a Tera Steel Fire option, Rotom Wash would have the means to handle all of the typical Fire-type counterplay thanks to its Electric and Water-type moves. Hydro Pump can be utilized to handle both Rock and Ground types, while you can use Thunderbolt to handle the opposing Water types. Not only this, but thanks to Levitate, you can even ensure an immunity to fire types still that would typically destroy fire type Pokemon. Rotom Wash could probably utilize both defensive or offenses with success. Whether you're utilizing Nasty Plot movesets or Pain Split variations with 3 attacks, Rotom Wash would have a strong variety in movesets to handle your opponent's teams. I personally think Nasty Plot would be more successful on a moveset like this, purely due to the potency of water plus fire plus electric offensively. Unless you're a Pokemon such as Seismitoad, you'd probably have a hard time actually defeating Rotom as far as OU standards go. I can't imagine Rotom Wash not becoming a terrifying Terrestrial Pokemon in this generation, leaving it at number 6 on our list today. The number 5 Pokemon on our list today is none other than one of OU's most terrifying Pokemon, Weevile. Weevile typically runs the OU tier due to how fast it is, as well as its terrifying offensive stab combination. I think Weevile is going to be one of those terrifying Pokemon that can take advantage of continuing to use its stab moves to destroy the OU tier. Weevile could take advantage of destroying teams with Terrestrial Ice or Dark, considering how few Pokemon switch into either Triple Axle or Knockoff already. I can't see a world where most teams would be ready to call this 50-50, as most switch-ins to Terrestrial Dark boosted Knockoff would be unable to also switch in the Terrestrial Ice boosted Triple Axle. While these both sound terrifying, I think Weevile could take advantage of some non-stab Terrestrial types as well. Terrestrial Ground on Weevile, for example, could be utilized in order to handle Pokemon such as Heatran or Toxapex in OU, or Terrestrial Flying if you were concerned with Buzzwole. Weevile's high speed and physical attack stat allow it to be extremely viable, to a degree where you can pretty much make any Terrestrial typing work on Weevile without changing much about your moveset. I don't think most Weevile movesets would even need to be changed, since you could typically run Triple Axle, Ice Shard, Knockoff, and either Terrestrial Blast, or some other move from Weevile's arsenal like Low Kick, Psycho Cut, Poison Jab, or Aerial Ace, depending on if you were utilizing Terrestrial to make any of these moves stab. Weevile would be an absolute menace in OU. However, I think there are 4 other Pokemon that will become infinitely better thanks to this mechanic. Moving on to our number 4 Pokemon, we have a powerful Ghost type in the form of Gengar. Gengar has a few terrifying options for Terrestrial thanks to its high speed and incredible coverage. Whether Gengar's taking advantage of Terrestrial Ghost to make its Shadow Ball more potent, or utilizing Terrestrial Fighting and Fairy to cover typical Gengar checks, Gengar will be a monster in the OU tier. Gengar could utilize Terrestrial with several options, such as bulky Nasty Plot movesets, or Choice Specs variations, in order to handle your opponent's team much quicker. One of the stronger switch-ins to Gengar typically is Tyranitar, due to its high special defense, as well as the Sand boost that makes Tyranitar have an extra 1.5 times special defense boost. Thanks to Terrestrial, however, you could actually ensure even a Black Sludge Gengar would be able to KO Tyranitar after Stealth Rocks as long as it lacks an Assault Vest or Choppleberry. Without the Terrestrial Fighting, you would need a Choice Specs to even be able to pull this type of feat off. If you're worried about accuracy though, you could utilize a Nasty Plot set with Terrestrial Fairy in order to gain an easier time setting up, and then guaranteeing a 2-hit KO on Tyranitar. While you do less damage at first, you'd have a more reliable way to break Tyranitar. Gengar typically has to risk Focus Blast, but with the ability to no longer worry about accuracy when defeating Dark-type Pokemon, I have no doubts that Gengar will become a monster with Terrestrial in Generation 9. Our number 3 Pokemon on today's list is one of OU's greatest threats to Steel-type Pokemon, being Magnezone. Magnezone is able to pressure opposing Steel types thanks to Magnet Pull, which could actually become a detriment to a majority of Pokemon thanks to Terrestrial. Magnezone is going to become the antithesis of any Pokemon trying to take advantage of Terrestrial Steel, since they're opening themselves up to become defeated by Magnezone. But just how would Magnezone actually 1v1 these new Steel-type Pokemon? Magnezone, similar to Weevile, has a plethora of Terrestrial types that it could take advantage of. I'm unsure which type would be the best, but options such as Ground, Fire, or Fighting could become monstrous in the hands of Magnezone in order to handle whatever Steel you're trying to trap. Options such as Fire would be amazing to handle Steels that aren't Heatran. Ground would be great for the non-Steel flying Steel types, and Fighting would be amazing to take advantage of Iron Defense plus Body Press in order to destroy the opposing Steels. Magnezone could also take advantage of either Electric or Steel Terrestrial, and utilize an Analytic Choice Specs moveset in order to catch the opponent off guard. Regardless of what moveset you run, I can't imagine a world where Magnezone isn't considered a terrifying Terrestrial Pokemon in the Generation 9 OU metagame. The second best Terrestrial Pokemon is going to be a strong option in not only VGC, but also singles, being Terrestrial Steel Salamence. I can't see Salamence utilizing most Terrestrial types, but similar to Dragonite, Terrestrial Steel would be great at handling common checks such as opposing Rock, Ice, and Fairy-type Pokemon. Salamence would also have some strong offensive options in its arsenal, such as Iron Tail, that take advantage of this new stab, in case Tera Blast ends up having a low base power. But what if I didn't want to run Terrestrial Steel on my Salamence? I could see a couple of other options working when it comes to Salamence, such as Terra Dragon, Ground, or Flying. Ground would be mostly used to take advantage of Earthquake being such a potent offensive option. Meanwhile, Flying and Dragon would be best at taking advantage of the stab boost thought to come from using a Terrestrial type of your Pokemon's existing type. While I think Terrestrial Steel would be the best on a Dragon Dance Salamence, regardless of if you're utilizing Intimidate or Moxie, I could definitely see one of these other Tera types becoming potent. I think Salamence will be one of the strongest Terrestrial sweepers in the Gen 9 metagame. However, there is one Pokemon I think will outclass it. The number one Terrestrial Pokemon of all of Generation 9, I think will be none other than Gyarados. Gyarados can take advantage of Terrestrial in a similar way to Dragonite and Salamence, however, I think it does the job better due to the fact it can outright ignore a type it was 4 times weak to altogether. Gyarados will be the premier Pokemon for utilizing Terrestrial Ground in order to terrify all of the OU tier with Dragon Dance sweeping movesets. Gyarados has a plethora of coverage options to benefit from becoming a pure Ground-type Pokemon. However, I think the best moveset will be Dragon Dance, Waterfall, Earthquake, and one of Crunch, Power Whip, or Ice Fang. While moves such as Bounce and Substitute also work, I think these other ones will provide a wider range of coverage for Pokemon that would otherwise pressure ground types specifically, without worrying about a 2-turn side effect from Bounce, or without limiting the potential for coverage. I think relying on a 2-turn move like Bounce, especially in a metagame where Pokemon can change their type, will be a huge detriment. So I think this move should actually be taken off of consideration, despite being stronger than Ice Fang to handle grass types. Regardless though, I think Gyarados will be a monster come Generation 9 with Terrestrial. So that's our list for the top 10 Terrestrial Pokemon going in the Scarlet and Violet. I hope you guys enjoyed the list, and let me know in the comments what Pokemon you think will be broken with this mechanic. If you enjoy, make sure to hit the like button on this video, and use the subscribe button to stay up to date with my latest top 10 videos going in the Scarlet and Violet. With that said, I'll see you guys next time. Hey, it's the outro. Isn't that exciting? Thank you for enjoying another Mystic Umbreon video. We're getting ready to enter the fall, and the final stretch of hype for Scarlet and Violet is here. The excitement for Pokemon's 9th generation is at its peak, and I couldn't be more excited. We've still got plenty to cover before then though, so keep yourselves locked in. If you're interested in more Mystic content, check out my TikTok and Mystic Umbreon Shorts channel. If we get the 10k followers on TikTok, and we're super close, I'll be doing a viewer's choice video. Also, if you're into fanfictions and what ifs, check out Mystic Reads. I offer a ton of creative spoken word content on there, so come and join me. That's all for now. Make sure you subscribe for more fantastic content, and I'll see you next time.